So there are a ton of videos online that talk about how you can get rich quick in your 20s. And to be honest with you, I've been a quote unquote victim of this entire mentality. But what I want to share with you today is totally against that, because that has not been my experience with making money, especially online, okay? And so before the age of 25, I've made over $1 million in revenue with my businesses. And by no means did this happen quickly. And I say that because very few people before the age of 25 actually go on and do that. But number two, I believe that there's a big misconception online that it's just easy and quick in order to start making money in general, okay? And so today's video, I'm gonna completely debunk that whole myth and concept, but how you can actually go from thinking about getting rich, but how to get rich for sure. For me, I'd rather be rich for sure in my 20s rather than maybe getting rich quick, okay? Because a lot of this stuff that people promise you is, finessing you. They're trying to peddle something. They're trying to sell you an idea or a program, a course. And by no means am I, bashing that, knocking that. That's actually how I got my own start into this world. But now I just want to share the lessons that I've learned along the way that are legit, right? Like how I actually earned these battle scars by going through the trenches and learning it myself. So with that being said, I'm gonna break that down for you in just a second. So jumping into our whiteboard here, the first core key concept that I need you to understand is this idea of value exchange, okay? So what do I mean by that? So value exchange, if you understand, if you live in a capitalist society, and if you're watching this probably in America or in a first world country, whatever, right? You have to understand that the differences between the people that are being paid, a minimum wage salary versus people who are making millions of dollars comes down to the one concept that the person who's making millions or even billions of dollars is simply providing more value to the marketplace, okay? And this is one of the biggest misconceptions, because I grew up as a immigrant, right, with a single mom, and we were broke AF, okay, coming to a brand new country, no handouts, no nothing, and I was in a really tough financial position. And my question was always in the beginning, like, why do good people end up being in positions where they cannot financially provide for themselves, right? And the reason is, it's not because of that person is bad or there's something wrong with them. The reality of the situation is that they simply are not providing enough value, right? Because why does somebody who works at McDonald's, right? Why do they end up not being paid as much as somebody who owns a company, right? And I'll give you a very simple quote, right? Because Jim Rohn, who was a mentor to Tony Robbins, if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, go look him up, because you probably are living underneath a rock. But he has done over $12 billion in revenue every single year with his businesses and his portfolio of companies. And the reason why is because he provides so much value to the marketplace. Because this person at McDonald's, anyone off the street can go and learn that job within an hour, right? But in order to be able to lead a company of 100 people, you have to have so many technical skills that put you into a position where you actually are able to provide that much value, okay? Or, for example, Elon Musk, who's freaking building Teslas and providing transportation products to millions and millions and millions of people. Somebody like Elon Musk is providing way more freaking value than somebody who's just working at McDonald's, okay? And so the caveat here is you have to understand and be introduced to this concept of skill stacking, okay? Skill stacking. So if this is one of the most important lessons that I've learned over time that I wish I knew earlier on in my career before, because the more you can learn skills, the bigger the problems that you can solve. And you get paid in direct correlation to the value you provide to the marketplace, and people pay to get their problems solved, okay? So if my car broke down and I needed to go get it fixed, I would go take it to the mechanic. And the problem with my car is that it's broken and I don't know how to fix it because I'm not a mechanic. But somebody who has been working on cars for over the last 5 to 10 years, I would take it to their shop so that they can get the parts, they can open up the car, and they could fix the issue so that I can get back onto the road. So the reason why I end up paying that mechanic for that service is simply because he has specialized knowledge, a skill, right? The skill is simply specialized knowledge to be able to solve a problem, okay? So when you put that into consideration, that's all you really need to do. And so when I didn't really understand this in the beginning because I thought making money was like for really smart people or like for the super talented. And I'm not gonna lie, like that's how we were all brought up, especially in America. And you know, I kept seeing online how people were millionaires and I had no idea what the heck they even did. I didn't even know what business even was. Like, this was the crazy thing. I used to think that business was people would walk into a freaking office with a suitcase, sit down, type on a computer, and they'd make money, right? That's what I associated business with because there was no correlation and or concept of this. But now after going into the marketplace and now making over $1 million, 1.1, 1.2 million in revenue for my own businesses, I understood this core concept looking back, okay? And so you wanna just get started with understanding, you know, for me, I ran a digital marketing agency. I ran advertisements for companies. So you need to get into what I call a gateway skill, okay? And a gateway skill is the idea here that you need to be like getting into a skill that will lead you into other skills. So for me, media buying was the first skill that I ever learned, okay? And there's a few other skills that, you know, you could start off with if you want to do, you know, digital, run a digital business, make money online. You can learn how to do sales, how to create content, or how to do copywriting, right? These are all things that you should look up, okay? And if you don't know what these are skills that basically help people, you know, convert strangers into customers online, and it's incredibly powerful skill set to start out with. So the way that I ended up learning about the concept of skill stacking was when I was 19, I had just graduated high school, okay? And because my mom at the time didn't have any, you know, additional finances saved aside in order for me to go to college, I had to figure out a different way because my biggest motivator in the beginning was simply just to make enough so that I could retire her, make sure that I could take care of myself and provide for my family. So I had to step up into that role and figure things out, right? I couldn't just sit aside, be passive and, you know, just let life take me by. So me being ambitious enough, I slowly got into this rabbit hole where my first course I ever bought for $1,000 was teaching me about Facebook ads, which is technically what media buying is, okay? And this got me down this huge rabbit hole. From 2019 was when I incorporated my business. October 2nd of 2019 was when I started, okay? And over 6 years is how long it took me to get to the point where I've made over $1 million in sales. I started when I was 19. I'm 25 now, right? So 6 years of being in the trenches, okay? So the first 2 years, I was doing this part-time. I wasn't taking it super seriously. It wasn't something that I even truly believed could be a thing because I was sold into this idea of starting your own business, okay? And so if I had learned earlier, I would have been able to condense down that time frame of me being able to make over $1 million a lot faster, right? But now that I look back on it, the most important thing was just honing my skills because media buying, when I understood how to run Facebook ads, that got me into understanding how to sell, okay? And I didn't understand anything about sales, right? I just used to walk into these local businesses after I learned how to run Facebook ads and ask them, hey, are you guys looking to get more customers? I know how to promote your business on social media. I can run some advertisements to help you get customers in through the door. This is how much you have to spend. If you spend $500, I should be able to get you 10 customers, and that should be able to get you, you know, $1,000 in sales. So for me, I was solving a problem for them where I helped them get customers, but media buying, because I learned a gateway skill that got me into the game and allowed me to solve a problem for somebody and sell a service, right? That allowed me to learn the next skill, which was sales. And so over the next 2 years, that's when I just, every single weekend before and after work, I would just take small, consistent actions. I would learn off of YouTube, I would buy more courses, and I would just, you know, take action, right? And so I would walk into these stores, and I learned over time how to be a little bit more charismatic, how to get past the person to find the business owner. And I was just showing up over time, and I got a lot of reps. Eventually, that led me to learning how to create content online. So in 2021 was when I officially was able to quit my job, and I was making about $1,500 a month back then. And then in 2021 till 2022, that's when I learned how to create content. And then all of a sudden, like, I went from selling people in person to selling people online, teaching them or running these like Facebook marketing campaigns. And then I was able to make my first $10,000 month when I was 21. And by the end of 2022, I had made my first $100,000 in a year. So that 3-year compression time, it was nothing. Then boom, my first 100K year, right? And then after making $100,000, right, into 2023 was when I had a massive jump, and I went from making $100,000 that last year into making $420,000 because I then learned how to actually hire people, okay, to help me deliver on my services. And then after 2023 going into 2024 was when I was able to make over $480,000. So I started plateauing around the, that range, but it took some time of just compounding. And that's the thing that people don't want to tell you, is that it actually takes time. Developing skills takes years and consistent effort, and it's not something that happens quickly, because I had to eat a lot of shit. I had to figure things out by myself. I had to be proactive. I had to get into the trenches and actually try, right? It wasn't just like I ran and got lucky. This was not. And the people that get fucking lucky, and this is me like running a business now for over 6 years, they come and go, right? Because they don't have the skill set or the foundation, right? Because the bigger the foundation that you pour, right? This is why somebody like, for example, Elon Musk is so talented, is because not only is he a good CEO, he's a good operator, he's an engineer, he knows how to market, like he is a phenom at all these like other skills, okay? And so the deeper the foundation you pour, the higher this mountain can go, okay? And this is where you're gonna get to the point where you actually are able to make money, right? So with that core key concept, understand that you need to learn high value skills. You can start by learning some of this stuff and look at my channel, or look into people like Alex Hormozi, look into Russell Brunson, look into Tony Robbins, and just fundamentally learn from the best, okay? So here's how you take this key concept here and actually go and take action so that you can raise your market value and actually start making more money, right? How can you go from today, let's say your wage is $2 to $3K a month, how can you, within the next 6 to 12 months, get your value up so that you can start making $10K per month, okay? So in order for you to be able to do that, we need to go and learn skills. So where do you learn skills? What skills do you learn? And where do you get started? So the best part for me, I wish I learned this earlier, but you first want to learn from the best in the world, okay? And the reason why I say that you want to start off here is because there's plenty of teachers, okay? And by no means am I somebody that is the best in the world. You can learn from people that are 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of you, right? But if you really want to master a craft, you want to study the greatest of all times, because one of the other quotes from Jim Rohn is that success leaves clues. And for me, I simply found channels like the ones that you're watching right now, and I would study from these people that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of me, and I would learn what are they doing, because obviously they know something I don't, right? And so I learned over time is that people who make more money than me and they're relatively the same freaking age, is they fundamentally have been either one, doing it longer than I have, playing the game longer than I have in business, or number 2, they know something that I don't. Okay, so when you put it in that perspective, it's controllable. And when you put it into that perspective, success becomes inevitable. It's not airy-fairy, it's not magical. You just have to fucking, commit to doing it and going through the process. So it's long and arduous. This is why I'm saying that, like, you can get rich for sure. Like, trust me. And you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. By no means I keep saying this for myself because I do not see myself as a phenom. I'm somebody that is ambitious and fucking consistent, and I don't quit. Okay, like that's the one thing that is underrated in business success is tenacity, being kicked in the teeth 100 times and then getting up 101 times and always getting back up, because that's just going to be a part of the learning process. And so you want to learn from the best in the world for those skills that I just told you about, right? I'll tell you the ones that I personally have learned, And the one that I really want you to start with, personally speaking, is media buying. And the reason why this is, and I have other videos that break down what media buying is, long story short, essentially what you learn how to do is how to craft advertisements to spend money on Facebook, TikTok, Google. And when you spend money on advertisements, you get somebody else a customer. So you're technically able to spend $1 and make back a business $3, $4. So you can understand why that is a valuable skill, why that's something people would pay for. If I walked up to you and was like, hey, I can help you turn this $100 that you have into $400. Are you willing to help, let me do that for you? Who wouldn't say yes to that, right? That's the core idea, but you have to get good at the craft, okay? And the reason why I recommend starting off with media buying is because there's a few things, right? You could do it remote from anywhere in the world. You don't need any prior skills to get started. It'll lead you down the path of learning other high value skills like editing, content writing, copywriting, sales, persuasion, communication, all these things. This was the first thing that got me in through the door, but it'll immediately increase your value, okay? So media buying is the first one. The second one I could recommend you getting into is sales, right? Because sales, you could pick up a job, and you could also pick up a media buying job, by the way. You don't have to freelance or do whatever. If you learn how to close people, you learn how to get people to buy things, essentially, and you sell things like cars, real estate, boats, whatever, you're gonna end up getting paid a commission. And so I know sales guys that have made over an M, right? This is actually a pretty highly paid job. The more expensive stuff you sell, the more money you make. So that's kind of the name of the game there. 3 is copywriting, okay? So copywriting is just essentially being able to write words in a way that persuades people to take an action, okay? So media buying, these 2 things are pretty well enticed, but I strongly recommend that you guys spend time starting here. And number 1 is learning from the best in the world. So you want to go and find and do your due diligence, right? If you want to learn sales, who are the best salespeople in the world? Who is the best sales teacher? Who else has been able to produce a significant result within that field that I can go and learn from, okay? So anyone that is 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of you, go and learn from them. If I wanted to go be the best rapper that I possibly can be, I'm going to study Eminem. I'm going to study 50 Cent. I'm going to study those people. If I am looking to become the best basketball player, I'm going to study Kobe, Michael Jordan, Shaq. Those are things that I would spend time doing. So this is a meta skill, meaning it correlates to more than just this one topic. But always study from the best in the world and practice your craft, okay? Number 2, start selling your skill as a service, okay? So start selling it. What does that mean, right? So when I say start selling your skill, that means when you have learned this skill overall, and you don't have to have a lot of results, just go out and literally reach out to businesses, look on job listing sites like LinkedIn, Upwork, Indeed, and find people that are hiring people with that specific skill. And for specifically that, what I ended up doing at that given point in time was door knocking. I was sending cold messages. I was sending cold emails. I was cold calling. And that led me to just taking small actions every single day, consistently, okay? So the biggest thing here with being able to learn anything, right? Just practice it every single day. If you're learning media buying, spend every single day learning for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. And number 2 is taking small, consistent actions. Write an advertisement, write a piece of copy, right? And then go reach out to businesses, go apply for some jobs, take small, consistent actions over time, and that will put you into a position where you actually get experience. And so that'll put you into a position where this is one of the most important things that I've learned over my career is this feedback loop process, okay? So the feedback loop process starts with, overall, you learn, okay? And then you come up with an idea, come up with a strategy, you strategize, okay? Okay, what am I gonna do now that I learned how to run Facebook ads? Okay, I'm gonna go reach out to people. And then you take action, okay? Take action, you take action, and then once you take action, from there, you actually just record and document what happened, okay? So that goes from learning from your mistakes, right? See what happened, test it, right? Go out there, test, record, see what happens, and then you reiterate, okay? And this might be pretty familiar for you guys, but like this is what we learned in school called the scientific method. Like this is how you learn anything, okay? Like scientists, doctors, whatever the heck, right? You learn something, you strategize or hypothesize and think of an idea of like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. This is probably what it's gonna produce. And then you go and take the action, you go into the science field, you actually test the theory, and then you see the results, what actually happened, okay? And then based off of that experience, you go ahead and learn, okay? So that is actually how you actually compound and start skill stacking so that you become a more valuable human being, okay? So anyone that you actually study, okay? We talk about Andrew Tate, right? That's somebody that's everyone knows. Andrew Tate, we talk about Alex Hormozi, Tony Robbins, Andrew Huberman, right? Like Kobe Bryant, like people that are successful in their lane, they over time stacked a bunch of skills. And I'll give you an example. Kobe is one of the ones that come to my mind because like he had to learn a few different skills. In the beginning, it was him just learning how to shoot the ball, how to dribble the ball, and how to be, you know, the best player that he could be isolated in the NBA. And that's what he focused on a lot, right? But what he realized is that he can't win games by himself. So he had to learn over time how to be a good leader, how to actually set standards, how to hold people accountable. Like these are other soft skills where it actually impacted his game and helped him win more championships because it put him in a position where he was no longer just playing by himself, getting the best scores that he possibly can. And, you know, it actually helped him win some more rings, right? And the same thing for Andrew Tate, right? Like if you watch some of the podcasts that he had, Andrew Tate was not always the guy that you see online, right? He was actually very young, and he first learned sales. That was one of the first things that he ever did. He learned. He's been documenting his journey for a very long time. If you watch some of his old videos, they're actually like really like dog water, right? And then he like perfected his speech, his tonality, and he would go through this process here, and he would study back his podcast, and that's how he became one of the best orators and one of the best speakers on the face of planet Earth. He practiced it. But the other thing is he also understood how to monetize that attention. And if he didn't know how to sell, he didn't know how to market, he didn't know how to create a product, he didn't know how to solve problems, that would never, even if he had hundreds of millions of views, it would have never made him any money because he doesn't know how to monetize it. That's why there are influencers that are fucking broke, right? But somebody like Andrew Tate actually knows how to take that attention, how to sell shit, and make money from it. Same thing with Alex Hormozi, right? If you guys don't know him, go look him up. He's a business guru, but like Alex Hormozi started off with sales, right? Like when he started his gym, he had no idea what business was about, but he learned how to sell, and that was the thing that got him started in the game. And then he learned how to run ads, and he went through the whole process. Like this is like literally what I was telling you. They're like the game of business, there's just a foundational stack of skills. Anyone that's making over $1 million, they all have the same fundamental skills. They know how to hire, they know how to train, they know how to manage, they know how to build systems, they know how to be consistent, they know how to sell, they know how to market, they know how to copyright. These people are just valuable. Like the marketplace pays them a lot because they know how to solve a bunch of fucking problems that are complex. And when you solve bigger problems, you get paid in relation to the size of the problem that you can solve. So when you start out, this is how it happens. This is how over 6 years, you know, I went from nobody sleeping on the freaking floor, right? Like I'll show you guys. Like this was me at my mom's house right here on a fucking Zoom call that I paid for $5,000 to learn skills, right? It took a $5 coaching program at the time, okay? And it was one of the most impactful things that I've ever taken in my entire life, right? And self-educate, you know, I didn't go to school for this. I didn't have a degree for this. Like you just jump into the arena, pick a skill, find a way to monetize it, and just get going, right? So for example, media buying was the one skill that I ended up learning. Like I was telling you guys, I had no skills. I was sleeping on the freaking living room floor. We had no money. Like I dropped out of college. I had $3K in my bank. I slept on the floor and I never ran a business. How the fuck does somebody that has no skills is like anybody else in the entire world, and how do I go from that to somebody who actually that has done something, you know, negligible with their career, right? That it took time. It took time with me investing into my education. It took time for me to develop the characteristics and the mindset, right? That's another big part of it. 80% of success is psychological, 20% of it is actually technical. I had to change so much shit. I had to change my identity. I had to change the way that I view myself. I had to change the way that I speak, the way that I walk, the clothes that I wear, the people that I hang around, the actions that I took on a daily basis, the thoughts that I think on a regular, everyday basis, to become somebody who has a real track record. So this is the thing that people don't want to sell to you. Dude, there is no quick, easy shortcut or method. No way in hell. Like, if you believe that, you're gonna get finessed, you're gonna get scammed because you're naive, and that's not a position to be in. And I'm trying to share this with you because that's just not the reality. It's not the reality. Anyone that has made success, it took freaking time, and it's okay. It's okay that it's taking time. Because for me, I was so impatient, but enjoy the process. Enjoy the ride, because that's what really matters at the end of the day. It's not even the freaking milestones, because as soon as you hit a milestone, you move the needle for it anyways. The beauty of the journey is self-progression, self-realization, improving yourself. That's what life is all about. This is what, dude, it's just a game at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, however much money you accumulate, you're gonna end up pushing all the chips back onto the table. You're gonna end up being dead. None of the accomplishments that you ever accomplished in your entire life will matter, because you don't even know your great-great-great-grandfather or great-great-great-grandmother's name. So what's it to think that, your life is, so important or miraculous, where the actions that you end up taking, it's not that deep. Have fun. It's like, yes, you should have great reasons to push yourself to want to do this, but at the same time, you cannot rush growth, because when you plant a seed, you have to water it, you have to tend to it, and it's not just going to sprout like overnight, right? There's consistency and dedication to a love and a craft of being able to provide the best service, the best value possible to the marketplace, where eventually, after you start making 10 to 30K a month, like, there's not that many things that you can realistically need to buy, right? Because you're going to end up having different fucking problems. Rich people have the same amount of problems as poor people, right? Like, it's different. We all have problems. But when you can start enjoying the process of building yourself up, if you have a passion, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, and you have something that you want to do, you need to have these skill sets. So if your core focus right now is just making money, perfect, great. Go learn skills, but just have the right expectations, because if you don't have the right expectations, this is why so many people aren't like cut out for this shit, because they don't want to hear, oh, you know what, it's going to take you like 5 years, right? They don't want. Nobody wants to fucking hear that. Everyone wants to hear that, oh, it's going to happen in 90 days. Fuck no, it's not, bro. And if that's what you want, then like, get out of the game, because anyone that's serious about actually wanting to make an impact is not trying to play the game for fucking 6 months, right? This is a lifelong game. Entrepreneurship is a lifelong game. Building yourself is a lifelong game. And unless you're strapped in and ready for that, then, you're on the wrong mindset. You're already losing, right? So I share all of that because all of these people that are massively successful, it's not built overnight. And I know it's like one of those things that are just pushed, but like young men and people that are part of my generation, Gen Z, and even early 30s, like it's a psyop. Like, getting rich is a psyop to get like pushed the course. Like, I'm not against it, but just have the right expectations. It's just real. Like, that's why for me, it's about craft. It's about career. It's about developing yourself, because that's what actually made me money. Because I was zero. Now I am somebody that I'm more proud of. I'm proud to be. And, I'm continuously building every single day. Like, I'm still in the trenches. I am still a student, and I'm humbly building, but I'm sharing these lessons for you because I would have made progress a lot faster. Somebody's watching this is going to smoke me, right, at some point. And I hope you do, because these lessons here were very painful for me to learn. I had no father, no guidance, no mentorships. I had to go actually pay for them in order to actually learn from people. But, pay your way there. Pay to learn from somebody. People are willing to do that. So I digress. This is like one of the most, like, I get pent up or thinking about this because I know how many videos you fucking see, or at least on my feed, about how I made this much in 90 days. That motherfucker did not do that in 90 days. And if they did, they got fucking lucky, right? And that's fine. And by no means am I trying to shit or tear people down, but it's not the truth, all right? And the truth is what's most important. So I hope that you found this, this video impactful. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to learn more about media buying and learn how you can get started, click on this video over here or over here. It's going to teach you a little bit more about how you can get started down the same path that I did, if that's something that even interests you at all. I hope you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like videos like this. I'll be posting more on a regular basis. But if not, I'll see you in another video.